this time with another Game of Thrones hair tutorial, this time for Daenerys Targaryen, specifically the look she wore in the Season 3 finale, Mhysa. Actually, she might have worn it some other times, but this was what I was looking at when I was getting reference. It's a really great look. I mean, she always has great hair, but I really like this one because it's a bit more wearable than some of the other ones. But it's still lots of fun and you'll get lots of compliments, I'm sure, if you wear this out. So what you're going to need for this one, just pretty much a brush and clear elastics. I used quite a few. If you want, you can use clips to hold the hair as you're working, but that's optional. Oh, at one point I also did use this big clip to hold some of my hair out of the way, and some just regular hair elastics. What else? Oh yes, I curled my hair at the very end. You don't have to do that. I felt kind of bad doing it because I try not to use heat products very much, but it was kind of necessary for this look, or not really necessary, but I felt it looked better with some texture. So that said, let's get started. Okay, you're gonna start by brushing out all your hair. Make sure it's nice and smooth, no tangles. And then I took some of my Moroccan argan oil spray by Organics and just sprayed that through my hair too. Alright, next what you're going to want to do is you're going to separate a small piece of hair from one side to begin braiding with. Right now I'm actually separating some bangs and wisps out that I don't want to sit in the finished look. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that piece of hair and you're going to braid straight back towards the back of your head. As my hair is not quite long enough to have a sizable chunk at the back of my head, I'm actually doing a few passes as a lace Dutch braid. A Dutch braid means that you're braiding and it's basically a French braid, but you take the strands under instead of over. And lace braid means I'm only taking hair from one side, in this case the top. I will link some good tutorials in the description box below if you need help with Dutch braiding or lace braiding. So I only did a Dutch braid for about 3 passes, and I figured that would be enough length for me now, and thickness. So now I'm just continuing a regular English braid, that is a regular 3-strand braid. And I'm pulling back, but now that I have enough length, I'm bringing it forward so it's easier to see, and finishing that off. And now I'm checking to make sure that the braid will meet in the back of my head. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of my head, and I want the 2 braids to meet. So it has, so I'm adding a few more passes and then just tying it off with a clear elastic for now. It doesn't really matter. If you have a clip, you can use a clip, but I prefer clear elastics because I feel like they hold the braid in better. And you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm sectioning out my bangs again and then just taking a couple wisps. And I'm doing a few passes of a Dutch braid just to get enough length and thickness for this braid here. I'm braiding straight back. Now finishing more of the braid in front of my face now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check to see that they meet in the back of my head. you want them to sit pretty high. And yes, they do. So I'm tying this one off as well, just for now. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take those 2 braids that you've made and get them out of the way. I tried to put them on top of my head, but it didn't work. So then you're going to want to tie away the rest of your hair, just temporarily. I'm just using a regular elastic because when you tie these 2 braids together, you want to have the rest of the hair not caught in the braid. So you take these 2 braids and you tie them together where you want them to sit using another clear elastic. Sorry, the angle's not great for my camera. I was standing too close to it. You want them to sit pretty high on your head, like I said, and make sure they're fairly tight. And then you can take out the other 2 clear elastics and unravel those braids you've already made. Or the end of the braids, rather. And that's step 1 done. Okay, next what I'm going to do pretty quickly is just twist and pin my bangs out of the way because they were starting to get annoying and hanging in my face. Also, I don't want them to get into the braids next. Okay, next step, you're going to want to make another Dutch braid, and it's going to go below the first and parallel. So like before, I'm going to take a small wisp, I guess you'll call it, from my hairline and separating it out. These are going to fall around your face and not going to be in the actual braid. And like I said before, if you don't feel comfortable doing a Dutch braid, then I'll link a tutorial in the description box below, and really all I can say, just practice. So it's going to be a regular Dutch braid right until about your ear. So I'm going to add hair up until my ear from both sides. Then after that, it's going to be a lace braid, which means I'm only going to add hair from the top. And you're going to see that it's going to run parallel to the first braid, right around to the back of your head, around the center. Right now I've added hair up to my ear, and now I'm only adding hair from the top. You also want to make sure that the braid sits pretty tightly against your head when you're doing it. You don't want to pull forward or back at all. Because if you do, then when this hairstyle is all tied off, you're going to notice some bumps that you probably don't want to show up in the finished look. And now I'm about at the center of my head, a little before it, and I'm done adding hair in. So now I'm just going to finish the braid as an English braid. And I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom, I just want to have a little bit of length for when I tie it off. And then you do the exact same thing on the other side of your head. You separate out a small wisp from your hairline and then begin a Dutch braid. Once you reach your ear, it becomes a Dutch lace braid, and you're going to want it to hit the back center of your head. Once again, remember to pull it pretty tight because you don't want bumps for this hairstyle. Once you reach the back, do a couple more passes before tying it off. Alright, so what I'm going to do next here is I'm going to take down my bangs, and then I'm going to take the 4 braids that I've created and pin them to the top of my head with a big clip while I tie away the rest of my hair. I'm doing this because when I tie the braids away, I don't want them to have any excess hair caught in it. Once you've done that, the final step for this is to take these 3 ends and tie them together with a clear elastic, or an elastic of your choice, I suppose. Once you've done that, you can let the braid ends out as well as the rest of your hair. Alright, for a final touch, I'm going to curl my hair because that's what Daenerys had in the finale. She had some pretty nice loose curl / waves. However, I don't really like using a heat product on my hair, but I figured it was okay if it was just this once. To get a more natural look, what I'm doing is I'm curling once towards me and then the next I'm curling it away from me. I'm also, once I have let the curler out of my hair, grabbing that curl and holding it in my hand, which it keeps the natural curl better. Also, what I've noticed is that Daenerys had some pretty tight curls in those front wisps, but the rest of her hair was pretty much just loose waves. So what I'm going to do once I finish curling is I'm going to brush out with my fingers the back of my hair while keeping those front curls. That's what I'm doing here. And that's it for this Daenerys look. Now go take your dragons and conquer Westeros.